So, trying to work a deal with them to do
What do you think there?
I think you can start because
And we've got 30 seconds left.
yeah, I have to hold a button down that goes all the way around, so it's gonna take a minute, so if you don't mind the interruption, you can just take it out. I'll wait to hang up till there.
No, we need to get started.
You get started on the 6 o'clock.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. Call this meeting to order. We appreciate you all being here with us tonight. We appreciate the council being here tonight. We'll excuse Councilman Baird. He had something else going on. It was more important, apparently. But, anyway, we've asked Councilman White to give us a prayer to get us started, and then we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to meet here tonight at City Council meeting. Pray that as we discuss the business and affairs of the city, that we'll be guided to those things that are in the best interest for our residents. We're grateful for this beautiful free land that we live in. Pray that we may continue to enjoy the freedoms and liberties that Thou hast intended for us to have. We pray for those who serve to protect and keep us safe, watch over them and strengthen them. Please help us to all strive to get along well with others and have peace and harmony in our interactions. And this we pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item is the approval of previous minutes, August 20th.
Mayor, I move we approve. I didn't see any adjustments or changes.
Okay, got a motion?
Second.
Second by Councilman White, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved. We have our public comment period, beginning at this time. If there's anybody in the audience that would like to take up to 3 minutes to address the council, they can do that. If you would just come and state your name here at the podium. Are there any here tonight that would like to take that opportunity? Yes, ma'am.
Rhonda Winterton.
A little nervous, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
I believe the Roosevelt is an amazing place, and I think we can market it better than we are. I have been here for 40 years, and I've asked and asked, what is wonderful about Roosevelt?
Why do people keep coming home after the kids are eager to head out that door, and yet they keep coming back? I think we need to recognize Roosevelt as the heart of the basin. The heart of the basin tells what it's really about. It's about the people. When I moved in here, I said 2 years and I'm out of here. I came to teach school, but I fell in love with the people. I love the people. Our community has been known. As you can tell, I didn't have a lot of time to prepare. A lot of the businesses have started here in Roosevelt. We have Strata. We have the hospital, which we're very proud of. We have Moon Lake. I can see a heart with either blood veins, recognizing the hospital, with Strata, with their beautiful lines of communication coming out of the heart. I can see a Moon Lake with the electricity, because this is where it started. Guys, we need to recognize this. We have education. As far as I know, this is one of the beginning places that we started the extension of Utah State. I think these are the things that we need to market our town and our city with. This is the heart. I just went to a meeting, I'm new to the Chamber of Commerce, and they told me wonderful stories of how people, even when we were hit at hard times, such as in 2016, when the economy boomed, fell from after a boom, and it busted. But people came out and said, I'm hurting, but I know there's somebody out there that's hurting worse than I am. And they dug in their pockets, and they shared and gave and gave.
We need to emphasize that, not some of the other things.
I love our golf course, I love our parks, but we need to recognize the heart is what makes our town different from the rest. And we are the heart of the Basin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your passion.
Yes.
You might be called on the committee if you keep that up.
Where can I sit in a non-conspicuous place? No, I'm not a front rower, sorry.
Thanks again for that. Appreciate those words. And is there anybody else who would like to address the council?
That'd be a tough act to follow.
Yeah. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and continue with our meeting. We don't have any council appointments tonight, or city committee appointments. Huh?
Oh, you skipped council appointments.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we do. Sorry. Council appointment, Union High School Youth Council update. Keith Smith and Wade Bolson.
Yes, so we're here to inform you on the week of homecoming and what we're doing for that celebration.
Awesome.
So, on Tuesday, it will be the 1st of October. There is a volleyball game. This starts at 6:30. Varsity will start at 6:30. Freshmen will start at 3:30. So that is open to the public. Wednesday, we will have a Powder Puff football. It's girls football competition. That will just be at the high school. It starts at 6:30. And that will be open to the public as well. The parade, we're planning for Friday to start at 11:50. I have if anybody would like the route, we have that here. And then it's just the regular where it starts at Constitution, goes down past the junior high, turns at the Jehovah's Witness, and then down Lagoon Street, straight to high school. And then there's the football game that night. It will start at 7. Yeah, so that'll start at 7. And then the dance will be Saturday, the 5th, from 8 to 10 at the indoor training facility or the field house. So that's our homecoming week. Questions?
Awesome. That's exciting. I see 2 on here, Keaton Schmidt.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. You just too nervous?
No,
You took care of it just fine.
perfect.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate all you're doing.
So
It sounds
Mayor,
like an exciting weekend, yeah.
sorry, Mayor, I was just gonna say that a couple of things. One, for your information, the day of the parade, October 4th,
Yes.
we have a STEAM Expo at Utah State, but there'll be parking buses along Lagoon and possibly the Davis Jubilee Road there. They'll probably be loading about that time, but you'll start at 11:50 up at the park, Constitution Park. So you'll probably be down there around 12:30. They should be all cleared out of there because we'll be done at noon, just so you're aware of that. But also, this is something I'm hoping we can get going with Mr. Bake's help and Ms. Ballon's help with the Youth City Council. We'd love it if you guys maybe in your groups talked about something you'd like to bring to the city, maybe some changes or things that you'd like to see happen in the city, and get you involved a little more in Roosevelt City. As Ms. Winterton said, we love this town, we love this area, and we want to, promote the youth as well and give you guys opportunities. So if there's something as you're talking in your, youth student government that you want to bring to council, please let Mr. Bake know or Ms. Ballon know so that you can get that on the agenda. We can talk about it.
All right. Sounds good.
So, and I know you've met with the police already to give them the route for the parade, right, so they can help with that?
I have not met with them yet, I will.
We know about it.
Yeah, Officer Tucker,
Lieutenant Tucker.
Yeah.
In fact, he'll be speaking next, so. Well, thank you. That's great information.
Yeah.
Code enforcement update. Lieutenant Tucker and Rose.
Give an update on the code enforcement. Rose's been doing great. We've done a lot of the training that she's needed, so she's on the radio even, so she goes 1041, which is on duty with dispatch. Any code enforcement or animal calls that come in, real time, they give it to her and she goes and handles that. As far as equipment, we've got the car, we've got the chip reader right in the car so she can actually give dogs back before they even get to the shelter. We're working on how to format the letters and how we're gonna contact people and all that, and that's kind of just been an ongoing thing that we're doing. And so far, she's done a fantastic job. We're trying to get complaints done right away, and then also the really eyesores, the apparent ones, and then working with other, we got to answer any questions.
I've been seeing some places cleaned up, so I'm noticing that.
And we've been trying to figure out ways that we get the best results from, what people respond to better, so we've been working on that a lot, seeing what gets us the best results.
Yeah. There's an area of town that I wanted to talk to you about, but I won't do it in the public meeting. So
how long you been going, Rose?
Almost 2 months?
2 months?
Yeah, almost 2 months.
So is it helping the officers, with,
Yeah.
especially with the?
Yeah, so they're way happy not to have to deal with animal control stuff, and even though ordinance things, they do some ordinance, if it's a lot easier for the officers to deal with the state code. So if they have an unregistered vehicle on the road, then the officers just do it, but when your camper's been parked there for over 72 hours, you know, you really should see that involved. But it's been going good, like I say, we're just working out some of the bugs, and it's going good.
Well, we're excited,
Yeah, for
and I know around the community, it's gonna take a little time for people to be okay with, enforcing the codes, because we've been a little lax lately, but it's good. There's a lot of improvement that way, and we appreciate all the hard work. So,
And we're excited to see some of the results with the animal control as well, preventing the animals from entering the shelter and doing what we can to get them home.
absolutely. I think that's, especially with the code reader and everything else.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about that not in public meeting too. I was just gonna say, I'm sure there's an ability, if it happens multiple times, an individual dog is getting out or whatever,
What we want
you
to
can
do
cite them and take care of it right there too.
is we want to not take the animal though, we want to give the animal back.
Exactly.
If they do the citation. So we still
Exactly.
have some consequence, but we don't have the animal filling up their stuff.
Right. No, I think it's great.
And most of the ones I picked up that had a chip, they haven't got out again yet, so that's been a huge benefit.
Perfect.
What's been this community as you've interacted with them? What's been just, how's that going?
Honestly, most of them are just really grateful that it didn't end up going to the shelter where they're at risk for disease, they have to pay a fee, all of that fun stuff. Another thing that we're trying to do too is get with the people that feed community cats, we can get them fixed so there's not a giant population here in Roosevelt.
I don't think we've had really any trouble with ordinance violations, but we've been really upset, it's been really problem.
Yeah.
It's been good.
So far, people have been fairly compliant with it.
What can we do as a council to support you and help?
Yeah.
I feel like things are going well.
If there are certain things that you guys wanna see, let us know, we're more willing to work on that. If there are certain areas you'd like us to address, just let us know.
Perfect.
You guys have supported, I mean, I think we've got all the equipment we need, we're working on the exact graphic for the vehicle. So it's gonna say code enforcement and kind of be related to the police as far as look goes, but not that you are the police.
Right.
Well, that's great. Thanks for all your hard work.
We do, we appreciate you, Rose. I hope you're enjoying it.
I really enjoy the animal control portion, still learning to like the code.
I can see that.
Well, we appreciate all you do, and thanks for giving us an update, and again, anything we can do to help out.
For sure.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. All right. Eureka annexation petition, this came up second round, second time's a charm. Troy, I see you here causing hate and discontent, I mean,
Yes.
I do it
you
best.
gonna make Drew do this?
No, Troy's gonna come up here.
No, I did my part, see that?
We had a little question on the plat and the acreage from last meeting, but we've got that fixed and remedied. So let's start with,
Can you orient us a little bit, Drew, where this?
yeah, so this is out on Highway 40 towards Ioka turnoff, D Now building out there.
It is right.
That's Highway
There.
40. That's Slanted Lane.
This is the D Now.
This is the Ioka Lane.
So this would be in conjunction with the last annexation we did. What name is that underway? Was that yours?
Wyatt Edition.
So this would be in conjunction or adjacent to that parcel of property. Give you a little
Is
variance.
was Ross annexed in as well, or no?
He is this time.
This one,
Yeah, he's part of that right there.
yeah, so, Ryan has just over 24 acres, GS and O. Then Legram has just under 40, I guess, and Brad McClellan has just under 37 acres.
So is in the dark part, that's already annexed?
That's the proposal.
That's the proposed?
This
This
is
is
what's already annexed, so
Okay,
anything,
right, okay, yeah.
so this is part of it,
That's the proposal and the other side is the proposal.
this is the
Okay,
west portion and this is the east portion.
Perfect.
So there's a total of 100.978 acres combined between the three property owners. Some is on the south side of Highway 40, just a sliver. And the zone request will be, the majority acreage will be an R110 request for 64.57 acres, and then the frontage on Highway 40 and on the south side of Highway 40, combining 36.4 acres, will be proposed to zone commercial. So,
So this is your R110 and this is your commercial.
Okay.
Basically the back, or the wash back there, the gulch, whatever you wanna call it, stream of water is your boundary.
It's roughly the line.
so
And planning and zoning, do they have any questions, concerns?
no, it passed through the body of planning and zoning. Sewer was brought up as far as that goes, access, and we satisfied all their concerns on that.
Where do you have to hook to the sewer?
In 2000 south, there is an existing 12-inch sewer line, which is a ways down the road. So before the development takes place, that sewer line will have to be.
And we just talked about the sewer line being a 12-inch right there. Is that gonna be adequate to cover that area?
Yes.
And how do you feel about it, Drew?
I think it's great. I think it's a great mixed-use commercial district we're needing more of. I think it's,
Okay.
I think that would be a future area of growth for Roosevelt City.
Well, anytime we can get property annexed in the city, I think it's positive, so.
Right.
Mayor,
I don't see any issues. I would move we approve based on the recommendation.
we have a.
Oh, we have to do a public hearing, I forgot.
But you can motion to go into.
I move we go to the
a
public hearing to discuss this, thank you.
I'll second it.
I was so excited for you, Drew.
Drew.
Forgot we gotta go through the whole process.
So, we'll consider ourselves in a public hearing. Are there any that would like to speak to this particular annexation for or against? Seeing none,
I move we go back, return back to regular city council meeting.
okay,
I'll second.
motion to second, thank you, Councilman Allen again. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll consider ourselves back in the regular session.
Now I'll move to approve based on the recommendation of the planning and zoning.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the annexation as presented.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Excellent. So that was easy. Quick and easy. All right, next we have, well, I should say,
Do you need something signed, Troy?
I'm gonna leave it with Drew, he's got that.
okay, Sounds good. We have Roosevelt City Secondary Phase 3, Brady Nelson. Oh, he's not here.
Yeah, Brady's not here.
Goodness.
I was giving Brady an opportunity to present this to you guys tonight, but he was sick today, so
Oh,
he
sure.
didn't make it in.
That's because he lost yesterday at golf.
That was it, I heard his feelings a little bit. Hopefully you guys had a chance to review this in your packets. So, is there any questions? What I'm looking to do is, we'd like to do the addition of 1875 South. With the grant money we have now, we could, go a partial way down there, approximately 1,400 linear feet. If the city and if we have the funding to add the 150 to 150,000, we would approximately get, there would be another 40 connections doing the whole street and connecting it on State Street. So right now, that's what we have funding for. So if the city was to participate and add the 150, we'd go the rest of 1875 South and then tie it in to 1800 South on State Street. And which would pick up, there's a total altogether there, about 40 connections.
So you're saying the grant would cover just the,
Right where it's at now, yes, sir.
right there?
And you would,
And,
in the future, you would connect it to State Street and
no, it
1800
would
South?
loop
or-
now. It would loop
Oh, now it's
It would
going
loop now. That's another reason we'd like to do it, is to loop it in and.
So this doesn't depict that then? This doesn't
Yeah.
show that?
It's showing what they
Right.
aren't covering,
It's- yeah,
that
showing
last little
the
bit.
first
that's
one
the
is
other.
showing what the
Hang
grant
tight,
is
let's
at this
just
time.
let one person speak at once.
And this, and then your phase, your sheet, you can pull that up there, Sunshine, please. So, yeah, it's exhibit 1, yeah. Okay. Where we at?
Load, I think this is showing it.
Yeah.
Because I saw
there
where
you
they already installed on 1700
Yes.
South.
So right there, does it?
Yeah, and 1800 South loops, and then what
Okay, there you go.
were you,
Oh, there.
okay.
That's what I do, yeah, there. So,
The other one didn't
yeah,
show it.
the original one didn't show it, you're right.
Okay.
And we had that correction, this morning done through Jones and Deval, so. It
Awesome.
wasn't originally showing it, now it does, so I apologize for that. But there you go. That's what we get completed with our contribution of the 150.
That's great.
So I'm just basically here tonight to ask approval from the city council for the proposed addition of 1875 South.
Any other questions?
So, I was just looking at the numbers, I just wanna make sure I'm clear on this, so
Okay,
the total project is, we have 2 million, it's 2,150,000, so we still gonna have to come up with 150 to cover this?
yes, so we have 2 million originally,
Right,
and we'll have 154,970 left in grant money.
That's what I was thinking.
Right.
We don't have to come up with
But
any
so-
more, that's.
Yeah, and then no, actually, to do the rest of it, the city would have to, have 150,000.
right, that's what I'm trying to
So
clarify.
to complete it, yeah, to complete it.
Because this says 154,970 of the grant
Right,
funding
yeah.
for this project.
So 150
The
of it
additional
is left
project
over.
is 340,000.
Okay.
Right.
That's what I was trying to make sure I understood.
Can I jump in there and clarify a little bit there?
Yes,
So with
that's what we're
that,
here for, because this is the public's money that we're spending.
so the 154,970 of what you're seeing, that's the project grant not being utilized with what we have under contract right now. So it is projected that there's $120,000 left, that's going to be left in that project budget.
Right,
As far as things not being constructed. So we had some contingency items in there as far as sidewalk, curb and gutter, things like that, some patching. So that's projected not to be used. So with that total of 154,970 is what is left of that $2 million.
yeah, of the grant
Of
money.
the grant money.
Correct.
That 154,970 will take you to what that first exhibit showed.
Right,
About
About three-
1,400.
About 2/3 of the way down.
About 2/3 of the way down. With additional contribution by the city of approximately 150,000.
Then we
That
can
would
move
get
it.
us that loop that's shown in
Okay.
this exhibit here.
That's more clear.
So,
There you
okay.
go. Thanks, Eric.
So basically, while we tear up the street, do the whole street at once and be done.
While we're there.
Now, the next question comes, do we have $150,000 extra to to put towards the project?
The water fund is budgeted to make, a profit this year that would more than cover that, with, 16.9% of the year, completed the water utility, and I made a change on there and it's wrong, but they are at 31% of revenue forecast, budgeted. And Kirby and I sat down this afternoon and we looked at, the original connections on this project were 176. This would add an additional 40 connections at $500 each that goes into the impact fee. Would be $108,000. The annual minimum is $6 a month, so that over 12 months would be $72. So for all 216 connections, that would be another $15,000, leaving this $150,000 a shortfall of about $26,000, which we looked to see what the average usage was for those who have and actually use the secondary water. And the average for July was 47,000 gallons. So if we took that around, use that just as a base, say 5 months out of the year, for this 170 or 216 connections, that would be 51,000, which would be more than enough to cover within a year's time. And we don't collect all of the impact fees up front, but we do give people 12 months. So within a year's time, we would have collected enough to cover.
Great. So, I would just say, just for transparency purposes, we need to make sure that whatever the city's obligation is, which we talked about, which is great. Do we have this breakdown that we can show?
I worked on that this afternoon,
Okay.
so it wasn't in the packet.
Okay. Okay, so we have 154,970 left of grant money and a proposed 150,000 needed to finish the project as it's illustrated on the screen. Any other questions? And then the breakdown of how.
Mayor, I think it makes, to me, it makes a lot more sense if we're gonna do it, let's get it done in the area while we can, instead of doing it and having to come back afterwards. I think it makes sense, and given that we're this close based on the numbers, even based on Rhonda's numbers, we should come out fine, but we're only off, looks like about $26,000 even with that. That seems reasonable to get those connections in.
Agreed. I like coming up State Street better as well. I know that they were trying to come through another direction, but I like that better as well because that gets us on the east side of State Street.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because Brighton, I'm sure, is gonna subdivide that soon, because he's chomping at the bit. No, I'm just kidding.
So if, Kirby,
Yes.
just looking on the east side and the north of 1800 South there, is that, if that's developed, it's easy to then add the connections from there?
Yeah, as that's developed, yes.
So would that be a requirement for developers
It would,
to?
because it's available there.
Yeah, anyone in the city.
That's what I thought, I just wanted to verify.
Yeah.
Because it just makes sense that if we already have it there.
Perfect. Well, great. Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
I guess I'll move to approve the recommendation to get this part of to finish up this part of 1875 South and do the whole thing as Kirby laid it out. I don't know, whatever you want the motion to be, Kirby.
All right.
That sounds great. I just think it needs to be mentioned,
Yes.
the 150,000 match for the city.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman White. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kirby. And thanks, Johnson Mill, for
Yeah.
all your hard work on that project. It'll definitely, that'll be a blessing to our city, and it'll be a benefit to our city. Cottonwood Creek, let's see, just make sure I'm not missing anything. Cottonwood Creek Phase 2 approval, Sunshine Engineering.
Sunrise.
Sunrise Engineering. Sorry,
I was
Sunshine.
gonna say, Josh, you wanna
I think
both come
that's
up?
a great name though, Sunshine Engineering.
So I believe that there's
Tell
already.
us your name, because
Yeah,
you
sorry.
knew, we
Yeah, I am
lost
new.
Jeff.
Yeah, so Jeremy Larson,
Okay,
and yeah, we lost him and that was kind of unfortunate, but hopefully, between me and, our office manager, Aaron Averett, hopefully you guys and them serve as a decent replacement. But, so what we've got going on, just for those that aren't familiar, you've got the Cottonwood Creek Trail, which is supposed to be a continuation of the nature park that was constructed this last year. And so we've got two different maps going on here. One, which is shown right now, is an overall concept of the full trail loop, which you can see that little oval on the middle top section, that's where the nature park is. But we're gonna be at least anticipating to follow that route that you can see there. So that's the big picture that we're looking at. As of right now, what we're looking at is what is so the nature park we would consider like a phase 1. And a phase 2 is what would be shown on this next image. And these are two extensions coming off the nature park. One going off to the west to eventually meet up to Highway 121 and tie into the, I forget what that road is, but barn.
Clubhouse Drive.
Clubhouse Drive. So it's gonna connect up to there, and eventually there would be a continuation of striping for a bike lane and such like that. That isn't currently part of this phase. It's up for discussion, but that's where we're sitting right now. And then on the east side, continuing from the nature trail, going across State Street, which there is a lot of, that part of the project is actually being handled by Civco.
that just brings back a thought that I had a little earlier, so get with me if you don't have to leave early, because I have a
Okay. We'll do it.
couple of thoughts on that.
And so we're going across State Street, and then technically it will end down at Highway 40, but we are not entirely sure of where it's going to continue from 3rd North down to Highway 40, and so that's why that has been omitted currently. But if we were to leave it, even if we were to just have trail installed through that portion, that would still leave you in good sections for pedestrians or cyclists, whoever, to be able to enter back on sidewalks, roads, whatever is needed to continue whatever route. But this is the proposed next phase. And one thing that was not included, just because we weren't able to get it ready until tonight, was a general cost estimate for what we're expecting for this phase, as well as engineering costs. I will say up front, no problem. Oh, yes. So you'll see that we've got a split between the general construction costs, and we're looking at a little over $1 million to complete this project, and a big portion of that is simply due to the extreme differences in grade. And so there's going to be several sections that would need retaining walls, as well as a bridge on the east side. You can see where it's crossing the creek. There's going to be another bridge put in, similar style, hopefully, to what was put in place at the nature park. From what I understand, and Josh, correct me if I'm wrong on this, is that there's grant funding that's already available that either in total or parts should be able to cover, this addition to the trail system. And that would hopefully include engineering services. You'll see that the total there's probably a little higher, than what we're probably anticipating. That's more of kind of a high estimation, I would put it that way.
Jerry, I can interrupt real quick. This is a grant funding that actually Ryan Snow applied for a long time ago, and then we got that, or we accepted it about a year or two ago. It's finally becoming available. And so this
How much is that?
I want to say it's
I don't remember that.
600,000. The city has a portion that we have to do, but it's a small fraction of what the entire amount. I want to say it's like 643,000, somewhere in there. So we've got
So
a
this is
substantial grant, but it has to be used in this section. So that grant could not extend out to say down by the high school. This one, when the grant was applied for, it's for a very specific section, and that's why we're looking at between Highway 40 and
Highway
I
121.
think it was the 121, right?
Yeah, 121.
Yeah, I think all the way to 121.
And one thing to note is items 4, 5, and 6, you'll see have double stars there. And the reason for that is because that's actually the in-kind portion being done by the city. Similar to what, from what I understand, was done with the nature park, that grading was completed by the city. And so, yeah, that was the in-kind match. And it's kind of where things are sitting, and I'm not really sure if it's more just kind of sitting as a discussion at this moment or where we're at.
Yes, and we plan on doing this similar to the nature park, where we're gonna get as much done as we can in-house as we go along the process. But mainly it's this big grant that we have that we're finally available to use to do outside.
So, yeah, when does the grant become available then?
Offhand, no, I don't, I think it's, I want to say it's the beginning of winter, but I don't really know.
Yeah,
It was so long ago, I can't remember the grant or the funding source.
yes, it has been awarded, it's through UDOT, but it wasn't, it had a special name to it.
Was it a TIF grant, is that what it was, or was that?
No, it wasn't a TIF.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can pull it up, because we brought it to council, because we had to formally accept it, but even that was a while ago.
So this is separate from the outdoor recreation
Yes.
grant that we've been getting. Did we apply for that one again as well? Because that's an annual one we
Yeah.
apply for.
The application is in May, I believe, so I believe we did apply, we applied this April, May.
Okay.
I think we're just applying as often as we can until it's October, until it's October.
We did apply, and our recreation committee, our Arts Park and Rec committee applied for a mini grant through it for Day Playground.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I can get the name of the specific name of the grant and send it out.
Do we have, I see the route on the west side. Do we have permission to go that route?
That's still something that's being determined, I was gonna say that was probably something that's gonna be noted at either in private session or another time. But yeah, there are a number of property owners that are being addressed,
Yeah,
some of which already have been at this point.
because we looked at potential alternate source.
Yes, and that is still being entertained. It would still require going through some properties,
Okay.
which additional discussion would need to be made with that.
Because I was under the impression that if we did the alternate route, we would actually bypass several property owners who wouldn't have to.
No, we still have to basically change some of the right of ways we already have, some easements, I should say.
Okay.
So changes are up, but that is still on the table. We've had some direction from council members in our committee to start discussions, but nothing's been decided. But those are still options we're looking at. It really depends on the feedback we get as we discuss those. And Jones and the Mills looking at the grade, there's a very steep grade with the driveway, so there's still options that they're looking at. Same with the east side, there's a couple options there that really depend how negotiations go, so.
And things are a little bit more on the preliminary side from that stretch from Third North to Highway
40, and that's simply why it's not included. This is, what's showing there, is that original option. If it moves to that secondary one, it would be less right-of-ways, but yeah, like you're saying, still probably the same complexity to get it. One benefit, if we were able to get the alternate route, would be a reduction in cost for one less bridge for crossing, because currently on the west side, there's 2 crossings. And you would eliminate one, maybe even both of them in the process.
One other question that I have, and are we required to have easements and everything's finalized before they give us the money?
On that grant, or right there?
I don't think so, to be honest. I think that as long as it's in process and they are aware of it and know that, the diligence is being put forth.
Okay.
As it's within the project area.
Timeline?
Yeah.
Project area?
Area and timeline, yes, that is right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got some work to do.
Yeah, there's still quite a bit.
But we are making progress, we're heading in the right direction, so.
Good.
It's attainable. That's a good part.
Yeah, that's the report, unless there's any other questions.
I don't think we need a motion or anything. We just,
Mayor, when are we hoping to start work on this phase 2 here?
personally, I'd say I'd like to see it ASAP, but we'll have to wait for the grant.
Right.
And then the property owners or getting that, we gotta complete the easements, or
Right.
we really don't have.
Yeah.
We have a trail to nowhere.
Right, and best case scenario, I'm seeing it being done maybe as early as this summer. But I'm not holding my breath too much on that, depending on all the different factors that can play out differently. As far as our end, the design side wouldn't be a bottleneck.
Right.
That'd be probably one of the quickest parts. It's the land acquisition, and that's probably gonna take the most time,
Exactly.
or cause the biggest hurdle, so.
Okay, well, that's good. And then we need to start working on, there's two other pieces of this that I just really want to get to the walking path, really bad. And then at least to Lagoon Street, because then we can loop the trail fairly simply on Lagoon Street to the east, even if we can't get permission down Cottonwood Creek. So, if we could just get to Lagoon Street and over to the clubhouse subdivision, we could loop this trail without going through Cottonwood Creek. We can actually have a looped trail with sidewalks and everything else and painted lines, so.
Which is definitely a route that can be taken.
Yeah,
depending on where-
we'll still work on the Cottonwood Creek side of things.
But being able to have a loop
Yeah.
complete like that, yeah,
Mhm.
that'd be awesome.
And we could advertise and people, yeah. So, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Fire truck surplus exception, Joshua.
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, we just did a surplus of many city vehicles. I will do a report on that in the city manager report section. However, we are requesting an exception to our surplus policy. We discussed surplusing one of our fire trucks to the county. The county is interested in buying it. They actually tried to come get it this past week because they wanted to use it on a fire, and we told them we need to make sure you do it the right way. So they are offering to buy that truck, and so I spoke with Mr. Charles, and council can grant an exception to that policy so that we can surplus that fire truck. So that's what we're requesting tonight is, rather than creating a permanent exception, this is such a rare occurrence. Talking with Mr. Charles, our recommendation is just doing this one time. That way if it comes up in the future, we come back to council and ask for a specific exception. And so this would be an exception to surplus just that fire truck to Duchesne County.
Instead of having to offer it on a public
Yes.
bid website.
Yes. And Duchesne County has offered $20,000 for that. For council's, I'm jumping ahead, but for council's knowledge, the other fire truck that is not quite as nice, a little bit less, did sell in public surplus for $15,500. So this is more than that, but they're comparable, but this one is the nicer of the two. And so it is absolutely a good deal. It's within line.
great county partner goes to serving our county that we live in.
Was the 15,000 for the other one, is that after we have do we have to pay a commission for
The
those?
fire pays a 10%.
So we got that amount, whatever.
Yeah, we got the
Drew knows.
15.5. And when we went with public surplus, they give us an idea of what we should put as a reserve. They actually value the trucks very close. So this is a wonderful deal. The county's been great to work with, so that is our recommendation. Chief Lee has also been involved. He's actually the one that gave us the numbers. He's the one that talked with the county about what would be an appropriate amount. They discussed what they thought was good. He discussed what we thought was a good price, and that's what they came on was the 20,000. And both sides are very happy with it.
Any questions?
I move we approve the exception for the fire truck and sell it to Duchesne County.
And I'll second that.
Motion and a second by Councilman Goodrich, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Mr. Charles?
I think we're gonna move that into a closed session.
Yes.
Yes, we'd actually like to discuss that.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move to expenditure approval, so we have the POs go down.
Yeah, I saw them, I didn't see any concerns, I move we approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Councilman Allen, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. City manager report. Well, the capital project update, Ryan's out of town, do you want
Yes, so there's, with the updates on that, we have, things are still moving forward. The Innovation Hub, we still have our tentative grand opening date, but we're still getting furniture and stuff in there.
You do have a date, you said, or you?
There's been a tentative date.
to? We sent it out October 17th.
Yeah, I sent a calendar invite, but it does say tentative, it's not been confirmed. And actually, speaking with Sunshine, we're actually probably by tomorrow gonna recommend we push that back a week for timing to.
Can't do it, can't push it back a week. Is
that 100?
Yeah.
So we definitely wanna push it, but just kidding. Okay,
Just
we'll talk about that.
If you push it back a week, I'd say just put it towards the 1st of November. First week in November, something like that, unless you wanna do it.
I think as far as the grant is concerned, we're good there. The grand opening, we just want to include the state, so I think we'd be okay moving it back or if we. Sunshine, I apologize, I know we just talked about, what was the reasoning of moving it back?
The time in getting submissions and also having time to get them printed like we did in the last contest. If I don't have 2 weeks between the submission deadline and having them for the grand opening, which is what Ryan and I discussed, then we can't.
Anytime after the 26th of October would be fantastic.
I'm not. As long as I get my 2 weeks, I don't care.
I have an idea. It's a job. But could we paint the cinder block on the old library before the grand opening? It's just very visible now, like where the trees got cut down. That and the backside and the doors.
Didn't you say you have an idea for that?
Yes.
Well, you're talking about a mural, but can we just get a white, clean on that
I'm sure we
rough
can, I'm sure we can
looking,
paint there.
rough looking brick? Just
We don't like that, just dirty,
Get the guy out of, or the gal, whoever it is out of Vernal that paints all the American flags and eagles on things and put it there.
yeah, I think that'd be awesome too. But for the grand opening, if we don't have time for something like that, just a nice white coat of something.
Yes.
Paint over where it says ambulance.
we can definitely get that done. And just so you're aware, the bushes along that building also are gonna be cleaned up. I mean, they're kind of going crazy.
I saw him putting in the water line, I believe, for the
Yes.
drinking fountain, so that's good.
Yep, Dustin's been up there and your guys have to, Barry, they've been working up there.
Good.
Yeah, that's an easy one, we get that done.
I like that idea, obviously, but if we could, I mean, that gives us a month, a little over a month. If you could get a cost, get somebody lined up, bring it back to council by next council meeting.
For a mural?
Yeah, just get it done. Then we're not painting it and repainting it. But if we can, I agree.
Perfect.
And I don't know about how everyone feels about flags and eagles in here. Maybe not everyone likes them, but something like that.
I was gonna have him do a big mural councilman light, so.
That's fine.
But just flag on the I'll have him do a cost estimate on that, and then you can see, because I'm sure that'll get us an idea if you want to.
Dustin Putin at the bottom.
He said it, not that. Okay. We'll see if we can have that ready for council by next meeting. If not, we'll make sure we get some paint on it. So we'll have an answer by next council, 2 weeks away.
Perfect.
Would council prefers to meet internally and then send some dates, multiple dates, or do you want to set a date right now for the grand opening?
I would just set a date.
Yeah.
Anytime the mayor, after the dates the mayor said, would be fine, so.
The 31st is a great day and people will be
Yeah.
dressed up.
Yeah. You know, that might not be a terrible idea to have a trunk or treat through there. I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. It wouldn't be an awful idea though, to showcase it. It might get a lot of foot traffic and a lot of mess, but.
That sounds a little chaotic. Like a lot of work.
Come on, sunshine.
You need to come to see the halls after we have.
Yeah, no bueno, okay. But yeah, it's just maybe get 2 tentative dates, throw them out there, and then we'll pick the best one, because obviously it's not gonna work for everyone's schedule, but get the most people we can there.
Perfect, we'll get that set up. Okay. We do city manager report?
Yes, please.
Okay, I've got a couple of things for city manager report. I would like to report on our surplus. So when we met with the public surplus website, they gave us recommendations of how much vehicles they think would go for. And if we sold all of them for the amounts that they said, we would have made $117,500. That's for 9 vehicles and the pivot. We brought in $141,800.
Wow.
So we did quite a bit better than we thought. Some were a little bit lower than we thought, some were a little bit higher, but overall, it worked out great. So we are now prepping for round 2, and that's a lot of the lower priced vehicles, the odds and ends that the city needs to surplus. So surplus is going great, the website is phenomenal. It's been really good.
Did we hold back that Equinox? At least one.
The Acadias?
Or the Acadias?
Yes, we have 2 Acadias, 2 of them that are going out to the airport. So we'll have matching Acadias out there. We did some reassigning of vehicles as well, so we'll have more uniformity in our vehicles rather than a hodgepodge of different vehicles, so.
Great.
Okay. I'd also like to report on a comment that was sent to Dustin Glines at the parks. The Utah Youth Soccer Commissioner was out here attending a game between FC Cougars and Nebo, and he sent a message to Dustin saying, I just got to compliment your city on such an incredible sports complex. It is phenomenal. The fields were amazing. The grass was great. You guys need to be very proud of everything you're doing here in Roosevelt. So that's the Utah Youth Soccer Commissioner for the state of Utah. So I wanted to pass that on to council and give a shout out to Dustin and his crew for what they're doing up there. That's a phenomenal thing and a great thing for our community to have. I also want to compliment Mayor, Councilwoman Goodrich, and Brindy. We had our employee barbecue yesterday. It was awesome. And I gotta tell you, there's nothing cooler than as an employee seeing a mayor running around cooking like crazy, and it goes a long way. And so I just want to thank council for that. Those little things make a big difference, and as employees, it's great to have that interaction and be with you guys, so thank you for that, appreciate that. One final thing from the city manager report, as you know, they've changed the state statute, so any employee that is a division manager and above, if we want to modify their pay, we have to have a public hearing on that. When we did the last year's budget, I did an employee evaluation on salary. There were 2 positions where we have 2 division managers, where there was a recommendation to modify their pay scales. I just want to know what council's thoughts. We're obviously not having a public hearing tonight, and we just want direction. If we have something like that, so there's 2 that are quite a bit out of line with the other cities that I do my comparisons with, would council like me just to propose a public hearing and address them? Would you like to hear about the employees, the classifications, not the individual? but the classifications ahead of time. What kind of format would you want? Do you want them all just to wait and do them once a year? What's the kind of best practice that you would like us to do with that?
What do you recommend?
I would recommend at the times that we find, so I typically do it once every other year. And so it would be a once a year thing. This year when I did it, there were only 2. We went ahead and adopted the budget, and that's when that new statute was changed. So we have these 2 that in a normal time would have come during budget session, during the adoption of the budget. In the future, I would only bring them during budget time when we're adopting the budget. These 2 were outstanding because of when everything changed. So it was more of a timing thing. Typically, this wouldn't happen. So my recommendation is we do it once, maximum once a year. Like I said, I typically do a salary study once every 2 years. So it'd be maximum once a year in budget, but these 2 positions, I would like to recommend that council allows me to have a public hearing and bring those 2 up for a future meeting to have a public hearing. There's not a huge adjustment, it is very minor, but it would get the position, because we look at position, we don't look at individuals. You know, get these positions in line with the state. I try to get them within 85% of the state, so these are ones that were quite a bit out of line.
I'd say definitely on the public hearing, and then it's something we could address annually at our budget meeting.
Perfect. So you'll get me bringing these 2?
Yes.
But in the future, it'll be budget, okay? Perfect, thank you. Like I said, I just wanted to get council's direction on that one. Okay, and that's all I have. Any questions for me on anything?
Just thanks for your efforts, and if you could get with Mr. Felder sometime with those they've left already, sorry. But just get a hold of them, because I would love for those youth to get a chance to maybe present something.
You know, that brings up a thought that we could have and probably should have been doing for a long time, but to have a youth city council and just, it could be as simple as working with the current high school, you know, student body presidency and something like that, but then have them interact with even some of our committees that we have and things like that, so that we could assign some of them to certain committees and just have them interacting. I think that's great. I'm glad you.
So one thing, I've been over to Councilman Busenbark on gathering information. I did reach out to Vernal City. They have an active youth city council. I have the framework of everything they do. They've established a good program. And so I have all that information that I was going to go over and see. What's Ben's last name?
Felder.
Meet with Mr. Felder and go over kind of what Vernal does. One thing that works really well with Vernal is they have a council member that is one of the liaisons, and there's other ones as well. But it's really neat because they actually assign each of the youth city council members to a council member. And it's not a big commitment from the council, but they interview council and see what they like about it. But the big thing they do is in January at Local Officials Day on the Hill, Vernal takes their entire youth council. So there would be some cost there that the city does incur. Vernal spends about $3,000 a year on their youth city council, between meals, travel, they give them shirts. So that's an option that we do have, and I want to work with Mr. Felder and see how the school wants to be involved, but I think it's a great idea getting those youth involved, so.
Agreed.
But I want to start with the school first, and then I'll.
Right. I'd say if you just reach out sometime, and I'll tell them the same as well, so.
Perfect. Any other questions?
We have committee reports. Anything from the council? Yes, Sunshine.
Parks and Rec, I was advertising for it recently, I forget if it's 3 or 4, but there are several openings on that committee. We have been advertising for it, but please, if you know anybody who might be a good fit, encourage them to go on Bandwidth or apply, because we haven't gotten any new applicants since our last round when we were.
Will you send me a link for that?
How long ago did we look for, what was the last time?
March was the last time we put
Did
out
we get any?
feelers. We did, I forwarded them to you, they were not quite right.
Okay.
And we haven't gotten any for this most recent round, but I started advertising 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And that committee's meeting this Thursday, correct? 7?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll actually make it to that one. Fine.
I made it up to myself, I'll send you the link to the application for CPR.
And
It's
who
just a
else
letter.
is, Don, are you assigned to that committee, or did we have somebody else assigned? Are you? Okay. Thursdays, okay,
But I talked to Preston about it, so.
yeah. Do you want to remain on that committee?
Yeah.
Okay. Just, okay,
Okay,
well.
I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Am I a voting person on that
No.
committee or just a kind of there as a?
Just their liaison,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And not even, here's one thing, and maybe we could, well, it's okay to talk about right here, but we gotta be very careful that we don't, that committee is to function as freely as it possibly can. And so we're not there to really interject a whole lot other than, you know, we're a liaison, and then anything that's happening in that committee, we bring it to council meeting, you know, if there's anything that needs to come up for approval, and they obviously need to be coming fairly often to present, which they do when they have bigger things. But yeah, we want them to feel like they have the ability to do and run and go, and, you know, without too much. We don't want to interject too much. Cool, well, if there's nothing else, I do think we have a closed session item, right?
Yes, we recommend going into closed session for property negotiations and employee and personnel.
Okay.
I move we go into close.
John talked about moving that we adjourn.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just, Sunshine says it's a lot easier for keeping minutes and everything else if we just do the motion to go in and back out of closed session in one, right?
And you can also move to adjourn when you come back.
Adjourn.
Like, make that in your motion up front.
Okay.
Also to adjourn when the closed session's finished.
Okay, I move we go into closed session to discuss personnel and property and that we move out of closed session and adjourn the meeting after. Did that cover it?
That sounds
Yes,
pretty
I
good.
think you-
Okay, do we have
I'll
a
second that.
Okay, second by Councilman Goodrich.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, let's go ahead and move into closed session. Thanks everyone for coming.
Let's go to that.
Just if you want to make marks on yours. Do you want to change the